Good day everyone, I am Rufa May Masangay and together with my group mates, we will be discussing or we will gonna fill your knowledge about the death of Rizal. On December 29, 1896, Captain Rafael Dominguez read the order about the punishment of Rizal. He said to Rizal that tomorrow morning at 7 a.m., you will be shot by a firing squad. Well, after reading the death penalty, Jose opted to spend his quiet moments in the prison in his chapel. And also, he turned into writing when he was left alone. He wrote a poem. And later that day, on the same day, Rizal received a visit from his mother and his sister Trinidad and his other siblings. And at that moment, they cried. And also, Rizal knelt in front of his mother asking for forgiveness. And on the same day, on December 29, 1896, Rizal gave an alcohol stove to his sister Trinidad. And he said that there is something inside. There is a conversation between them. But they use an English language in order for the guards can't understand what he says. And also, inside the stove, there is a poem. There is a poem that it doesn't have any title or date, but it's just really a poem. And later on, it was translated by English by Charles Derbyshire, and also it is entitled as Mi Ultimo Adios, or in English, My Last Farewell, and in Tagalog, Huling Paalam. And he gave also a letter to his friend, Dr. Ferdinand Blumentritt, and to his brother, Kuya Pasano, and to his mother and father.
Hello everyone, my name is Oyuel Magbutong, and today I will be talking about what happened right before Rizal's death. On December 30, 1896, approximately at 6:30 in the morning, Jose's walk to his death commenced, signaled by a trumpet sound at Fort Santiago. The death march was delineated by ZNZ 2014 as follows. The first part of the passage talks about who Rizal was with right before his execution. The passage says that advance guard of 4 soldiers with bayoneted rifles moved a few meters behind. Rizal walked calmly, with his defense counsel Lieutenant Luis Tavel de Andrade on one side and 2 Jesuit priests, Fathers March and Villa Clara, on the other. More well-armed soldiers marched behind him. The second part of the passage talks about what Rizal was wearing and how he was tied up. The passage says that Rizal was dressed elegantly in a black suit, black derby hat, black shoes, white shirt, and a black tie. His arms were tied behind from elbow to elbow, but the rope was quite loose to give his arms freedom of movement. The final part of the passage talks about where Rizal was executed. The passage says, to the muffled sounds of the drums, the cavalcade somnolently marched slowly. There was a handful of spectators lining the streets from Fort Santiago to the Plaza de Palacio in front of the Manila Cathedral. Everybody seems to be out at Bagong Bayan, where a vast crowd gathered to see how a martyr dies.
At 6:30 in the morning of December 30, 1896, Rizal, in black suit with his arms tied behind his back, he calmly made his way to Bagong Bayan. He remarked about the beauty and serenity of the morning, uttered a few observations about the Corregidor, the mountains of Cavite, and the Ateneo College. This suggests a remarkable composure and a peaceful acceptance of his fate. His observations highlight his connection to his homeland even in his final moments. Upon reaching the place of execution, Jose noticed the very large number of praying persons and soldiers waiting for them. After final blessings were bestowed on him, he said his adieu to Father March, Father Villa Clara, and Lieutenant Taviel de Andrade. Jose's request that he be shot facing the firing squad was denied because there was an order to shoot him in the back, but Rizal wanted to do otherwise. Instead, he faced the firing squad to show his innocence of the charges thrown at him. but the Spanish authorities forced him to face backwards and shoot him at the back instead of the head. This reveals the cruelty and injustice of the execution. However, the normal pulse of Jose Rizal, felt by Dr. Felipe Ruiz Castillo, a Spanish military doctor, proved that he did not fear death and his calm acceptance of his death. Above the beating of the drums that filled the air was the cold-blooded command "Fuego" or fire, which ended Jose Rizal's life. He fell to the ground 3 minutes past 7 o'clock in the morning. As he declared dead, the shot at the back allowed him to turn his body sideways and fell on the ground with his face upward. Rizal's last word was "Consummatum is," or "It is finished." Expectedly, the passing away of Jose Rizal was greeted with joy by his enemies. On the contrary, those who loved, respected, and supported him, it was a moment of profound grief and anger. His passing solidified his place as a hero and a martyr to Philippine freedom, a symbol of unwavering courage and sacrifice in the fight for national independence.